A very random segment with Rafi and Clee. A very random segment.
Hola, you amazing artists!
Hi, everybody!
We have a special request that we're going to respond to, which is, how did we meet? A lot of people have been asking.
Yeah, we've had a lot of requests for this video, and this is a leviathan of a story, so we're going to try to break this down for you in easily digestible things.
Hopefully it captures the story the way that that it is, because in my mind, it's very magical. On the other side, it's like, well, we just kind of met. You know?
It was Kismet how we met.
It was Kismet. As some of you guys know, my brother has been in a band for like over a decade. There was another band that they used to play with, and my brother called me up one day and said, hey, could you come out to this show tonight? Because I want you to meet this girl that I really, really like. Don't worry, the girl wasn't Clee. The girl was the other lead singer that was in her band, because Clee was in the band that my brother's band used to play with. And so I was like, yeah, all right, fine. I didn't really want to go because it was like a Friday night in Chicago and it was kind of crazy out on the streets, but I decided to go anyway. And I went, and they were up on stage, and Richard was saying like, oh yeah, check Amber out. She's so beautiful, isn't she? I remember looking up on stage and looking at the other lead singer, the one that was next to Amber, and that was this guy over here. And there was something about her that was completely intriguing to me. It wasn't even like, you know, like, oh, check out that hot chick up on stage. It wasn't like that. It was like, there's something really intriguing about her, and I'd really like to know her. But it wasn't something that I was going to pursue because, you know, I was married. It was just a thought, like something intriguing about this girl that is up on stage. And then after the show, I got the opportunity to meet her, and I met her for like a brief second. I think she said like 2 words to me, and then she was gone.
I remember shaking your hand, and I think you said something like, good show, and I think I said thank you, and then I teleported.
5 years after that happened, I was going through a divorce and temporarily moved in with my brother. And by that time, the other lead singer that he had taken me out to the show to go see, they were in a relationship. In fact, recently they got married. A few months later, I remember walking into the kitchen to get some coffee, and
there I was.
Yep, there was Clee.
I had come over because I was going through a breakup and I was crying to Amber.
Yeah, it wasn't like, ooh, there's Clee. She did not look good.
I had puffy sad face.
Yeah, so I got my coffee, looked over, said hi, and then walked out of the room, and then didn't see you again for like a few weeks. But again, I saw her and I was like, oh, there's something intriguing about this girl.
Yeah, and then I thought the same thing. Even though I was sad, I was like, he's interesting.
Yeah.
You had on your weird beanie hat that you used to wear.
I had this weird beanie hat that was one of my kids' hats, and I like commandeered it for myself, and it barely fit me, but I was like, yeah, beanie hat.
I liked it.
And then a few months later, I was in my room and I was writing something out. I was writing a blog out, and Amber came in and said, hey, we're having a bonfire. Do you want to come out and hang out with us? And I was like, sure. So I went out there, and Clee was out there. There was several people out there, but Clee was out there, and she was sitting across from me at the bonfire, and we started talking.
Mm-hmm.
And then all of a sudden, I remember in the midst of just this conversation, it was like everyone else disappeared from the bonfire, and we were just talking back and forth. A little while later, it was time for you to leave, and I walked you out to your car, and we hugged.
And we hugged. And we hugged.
Okay, so in my mind, this was what was going on. I hugged her, and I was like, it feels like warm. Perfect warmth. You know, like that perfect warmth when you're laying in bed and you're under the blankets and you're all cozy and like you don't want to get out of bed. Like that perfect warmth, like home, like feeling like home. That's how it felt. And so I was like hugging her, and then I was like, oh crap, how long have I been hugging her? Is this awkward? Like, I've been holding on to her for way too long. This is gonna be weird. She's gonna be like, "What's up, freak?"
But I didn't think it was weird or creepy because it felt like I was hugging my person too, but neither one of us was gonna say it.
No, we weren't gonna say it. And then, you know, we let go of the hug. I was like, all right. And then she got in her car and then she left.
I got in my car and left for 3 months.
Yeah.
I left the state.
Yeah, she went on a self-funded tour with one of her bands.
Yeah. I went on a self-funded music playing soul searching tour, and I came home from that tour after 3 months, and then I was a hermit for 3 months while I tried to reacclimate into my life, which was challenging after like being out in the forest and on the coastline.
Yeah, because you were like in the redwood forest and like...
Yeah, I was on the West Coast, basically the whole West Coast, and it was magical. And then I came back and I was like, I don't know how to do this. And I didn't want to go out. I didn't want to see really very many people. So I went into hermit mode.
So it wasn't until like 5 months after you left, after that hug, that I got invited out to go see Amber at a show. Because they needed more people to show up, you know, like how many people they get through the door and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to go. I was like, I don't want to go to a bar, you guys. I don't feel like going out with all your friends and drinking and stuff like that. Like, I don't want to do that. And Richard was like, come on, Ralphie, you know. So finally I was like, all right, fine, I'm going. Because like my mom was going and my uncle, like everybody was going. And I was like, man, I'm such a jerk. Like I'm not being supportive whatsoever. So I decided to go. Sure enough, I was getting hit on by drunk girls and whatnot. And I was like, what am I doing here? And I was standing by the bar and I turn around and it was like a sea of people just parted. And there you were.
There I was. Now, what Rafi didn't know was that I got roped into going to that same show, and I didn't want to go because I hadn't been out since before my trip. I hadn't seen half the people, any of the people. I didn't really want to be in the chaos, but I decided, all right, I'm going to go support Amber. This is Amber's other band. And I got there, and everyone was really drunk, I feel like.
Yeah.
And some of my guy friends were a little too touchy-feely. It was kind of creepy. And I was like, I'm out of here. I don't belong here. I went to use the bathroom. There were these girls in the bathroom that were like, you look like you're older and wise. We're having an argument. And I was like, I'm out of here. I went to head for the door, and coming from the opposite direction, it was like the sea parted on my end too. And there was Rafi. Yep. And I went straight for him.
Yep, and she came straight for me, and I grabbed her hand, and we basically held hands the entire evening. And then since then, we've pretty much been inseparable.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's been 10 years. It's been 10 years. This will be our 11th New Year.
Yeah.
And I could pretty much count on one hand how many days, like full days, we have spent apart in that entire time. And we work together, we live together. She's my best friend.
And he's my best friend.
Yeah, and it's just been an ongoing adventure to get to know her. And I will be getting to know her for the rest of my life.
It's awesome.
Yeah. So it might not be as an exciting of a story as a lot of people think, but the fact that things came together like that, we met so many times in the span of like 7 years. We had met several times but didn't know each other, and then somehow, some way, it was almost like everything was just pushing us together, and here we are.
Can't cover all the details of all the crazy stuff that brought us together because this video would be 2 hours long.
Yeah.
But those are the highlights of what happened. And then, as you know, a lot of you know, we went on a crazy adventure, which is a video for another day.
Yeah. So yeah, that's our story, you guys. Hopefully you enjoyed that, and that's it. Thank you so much for watching, you guys. You guys are absolutely amazing. Totally adore you. And that's it. Say goodbye, Clee.
Good day.
Adios.